Although the flights over China were an absolute failure, the program provided early insight into the use of drones. The choice was positive for the development, but the 2 modified A-12 launch planes and the 20 drones built had totaled a cost of $440 million, adjusted for 2019. Several failures followed, but Lockheed trod on and successfully launched the first D-XXI flight from a B-52H in June of 1968. Soon after, the program was ready for operational espionage flights over China. The launches of the D-XXI from the B-52H planes was established under a classified test program called Tagboard, with the drones themselves being called Project Super Bowl. In a 1969 memo, the Joint Chiefs of Staff explained their expectations for the program. Quote, "The Tagboard drone provides a unique technical capability to satisfy national requirements to conduct imagery reconnaissance operations against targets hostile or potentially hostile to the United States." The D-XXI was primarily targeted at spying on Chinese nuclear sites. China had tested an atomic bomb in 1964 for the first time, and the intelligence community was deeply vested in learning about the progression of Chinese nuclear technology and capability. A total of 4 missions were launched to spy on the facilities in southern China that satellites had failed to supervise sufficiently. Another Joint Chiefs of Staff memo from 1969 stated, quote, 93% of the high-priority South China targets had no coverage during the previous 2 months. While they acknowledged that China may be able to detect the drones through radar, they believed that Chinese missile systems would not pose a tangible threat to the project. Still, the flights were incredibly unsuccessful. 2 drones were lost, 1 was unable to eject the camera module, and the last returned irretrievable footage. Although the flights over China were an absolute failure, the program provided early insight into the use of drones. The technology was almost unthinkable at the time, and the altitude capabilities of the drone are impressive even by 2020 standards. After the failures, National Reconnaissance Office Director John McLucas wrote in an April of 1971 memo, quote, "I've become increasingly convinced that we should be expending our efforts on upgrading our satellite activities, rather than trying to continue with air-breathing vehicles. The drones, deemed unsafe and unreliable, were cancelled on July 15, 1971, with the converted aircraft returning to their regular operations.